Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Hail to the Chin podcast, a companion podcast that goes alongside the television show Ash vs. Evil Dead. We've had 2 episodes so far. Episode 3 up, Books from Beyond. Series so far has gone absolutely brilliantly. It can only get better, I imagine.
I mean, the pilot was amazing, but I thought the Books from Beyond, this episode, I really liked this episode. I'm not saying the Bait was a bad episode. I'm just saying I enjoyed this one a hell of a lot more than Bait.
Yeah. How about you, Steve?
This is a big episode that everything was kind of leading towards, and was going to be kind of like the centerpiece, I guess, of the starting after the pilot kind of story arc. And I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal and fantastic. So I've got Stars Originals Presents up on my screen now. So if we're ready to go.
Before we get going, though, if you want to tweet us during the episode or just tweet us in general, you can follow us on Twitter at Hail to the Chin. That's 2 as the number 2. So that's Hail to the Chin on Twitter if you want to follow along. But nevertheless, let's get cracking, chaps.
Hold on. No, what I was going to say is what I found is listening back to these. I mean, you don't necessarily have to watch the episode with us. I mean, you can just listen to these on your travels. I've found that, you know, it's interestingly enough just to listen to us, like listen to the Evil Dead chat and that, you know, without
just talking about references and stuff like that, because it's just a ton. Right. Yeah. Nevertheless, though, Sam,
but if you are listening along to the episode, then, so in 3, 2, 1, and play.
Rock and roll.
Right. I love it how the sort of like the recap just.
You can never get enough of that one's dive, can you?
I think they know that as well. It's like, yep, Ash is awesome. Yeah, so you got a little recap here, haven't you, of what's the road so far?
The road so far.
Sorry, Supernatural reference.
Yeah, wrong show.
I was talking about Supernatural, the little alien thing in this. Not the alien. See, that's what I'm talking about. Supernatural again.
Deadite.
But the thing they summon in this episode reminded me of the thing in the woods in the 2nd episode of Supernatural.
Yeah.
Was it the Wendigo?
Yeah, the Wendigo. I've got some views on the total nerd wimpy demon to bring up later on, but that's.
Can we just comment on the music here as well?
Yeah.
It's so out of place, but at the same time, I don't know why it still feels so right. Does anyone else agree?
Isn't it? It's just, but yes, I think. I mean, although this episode's not directed by Sam Raimi, it is just very Sam Raimi-esque, isn't it?
I guess that's the reassurance, though, as well, where Bruce and that was saying that although Raimi will not be doing the whole entire series, he's watching it, you know, he's watching it from behind, making sure that people are doing things correctly.
Yeah.
I mean, I did see online a few negative reviews, but I think just people just nitpicking for the sake of nitpicking.
Yeah.
And I think
I guess Steve just cut out then, unfortunately. Can we, between me and you then, Sam, how good does Lucy Lawless look still?
That's what I was about to say. Lucy Lawless just looks fucking banging.
Oh, Lucy Lawless is flawless.
Yeah, she is my new older lady crush at the moment. She's not. I mean, you say older lady, I think she's closing in on 50, but she doesn't look it at all.
No, she's just still looks so good, but as well, considering she's the professor's daughter, I think what a great selection of a lady. Really, you're gonna need a character that's out for some malice, is pissed off. I guess probably knows the history of her father. I think she's she plays a character really well as Ruby.
Yeah,
and she's badass.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's not afraid of him. I like the way that she just kicks this Deadite around.
It's Deadite's arse.
I love the bit. Where she just starts flicking the
fork,
in the eye. It's just such a.
Do you know what I think's really good that I was really happy with in this particular scene that expressed it a lot?
What was that?
Just listen, is the voice. The one thing, talking about the Evil Dead reboot, the one thing that kind of irritated me a little bit was the fact that I felt the Deadite's voices weren't as demonic in the reboot, but in the television series as such, they sound horrible, and it's those voices that terrified me when I was 12 watching it for the first time.
It's just, it is that 80s sort of like voice. Trying to think of the word, but anyway, yeah. I don't think there was it wasn't really a place for it in the reboots, but I love how this guy's face is just melting.
Yeah, I like as well. It clearly answered the question for Steve, didn't it? Steve was asking about the demon dagger from the originals, and clearly there you go.
Yeah. Here we go. Here's the crew.
The pack.
Yeah. Shouldn't be up. See, this is one of my favourite scenes in the episode. Just Ash being Ash.
What I like most about the opening is that now you kind of see more of why the Kandarian dagger would be kept with the book.
Yeah.
It looks as if, basically it's always goes hand in hand with the book, because I always thought maybe it was for like sacrifices. Yeah. Which it quite possibly be, but the way Lucy Lawless, Ruby's using it, and it's kind of burning the Deadite, it's sort of like it could be protection for the summoner. Like, basically, it's the only weapon that really sort of like
repels them almost.
Yeah, properly. Because you never really sort of saw that.
No, exactly, yeah. One thing I want to point out in this scene that really got me.
Ghost beaters.
yeah. No, look. Watch Dana in the background in a bit. Hold on.
Radio silence.
Yeah. 1 sec. Well, you'll see it in a moment. Look. Dana, at one point, is desperately trying not to laugh.
I mean, I must say, I'm finding already 3 episodes in, and the relationships are like effortless of these characters.
Look at her; she's desperately trying not to laugh.
He's like, I'm not. You do know I'm not Mexican. He's like, that's the spirit.
Yeah. Steve, you're correct with what you was just saying as well.
It's like they've been doing this forever, haven't they?
Yeah.
They've just gelled so well.
Works perfectly. But as well, Sam, in reference to what you were saying about Ash's sort of, I guess, almost expected racial slur was just, that's the spirit.
Yeah.
Off the cuff, just still doesn't care. Sorry, go ahead, Sam.
No, I was going to say, you might, go ahead, mate, because this was probably going to be a long little rant, or not a rant, but go on. Say what you want.
I was quickly going to say, how Drag Me to Hell does this particular set look?
Well, this is what I said in the last episode, wasn't it? Like, by the card and the little preview, I said it just reminds me so much of the guy in Drag Me to Hell, wasn't he? He was like the seance guy. I wonder if obviously I only watched Drag Me to Hell recently, but if I watched that again, them scenes and this, I bet there's a few little Easter eggs in it.
Yeah, there's got to be some nods, yeah.
Yeah, but no, what I was going to say is about the evolution of Ash, like how he changes over the 3 films, and we've basically settled for Army of Darkness Ash in the series.
Yeah. I think we're all happy with that, though.
Yeah, well, this is the character of Ash that is built for the video games, and things like My Name is Bruce.
And even as his online persona, almost,
Yeah.
It's almost kind of like Steve was saying, or like the two of you pointed out as well, that Army of Darkness has clearly been forgotten now in the franchise.
Well, obviously we had said, because basically what I'd done, I think Dean, you did the same, didn't you, over the summer? We avoided everything on this unless it was official Comic-Con kind of panels from Stars. We avoided all articles, all videos on the show.
Spoiler leaks,
because we didn't want anything ruined. So there is actually some stuff that we missed out. So we did, obviously it is the fact that they don't have the rights to Army of Darkness, so we've already sort of sorted that out. But that's what I'm saying, because we went dark, didn't we, over the summer before this show's release. There's stuff that we're finding out now that we're able to we've come out of our kind of like little bunker to.
Well, that's like I tweeted earlier saying that it's so good to see that this TV show's answering so many questions after so many years. Banging. Lucy Lawless. Oh, no,
false cam and everything.
Yeah, so good. I love this scene between Dana and Ray.
Yeah.
I love how no matter where they are, there's always a forest nearby as well.
That is Michigan, though. Michigan is pretty foresty around.
As you well know.
As I well know.
The many summers you've spent in Michigan.
I love the blood sort of still on the dashboard.
Yeah.
Just driving around.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm probably going to have to do as well. When I next go over to Michigan with my wife, I'm probably going to have to run through a forest with the camera going.
You and about 3,000 other fanboys all just running around the woods together with camcorders.
You'll be like, this is cool, no one's ever done this. And you just get there and it's just flooded.
Start trying to tag it on YouTube and just fucking everybody's done it already. Badass cop girl.
I love that line. Is there any world where this doesn't have something to do with Ash?
I think they've nailed the bookstore character as well. Even just the way he looks like the sort of guy that would lock himself away with all of this sort of black magic and cult sort of stuff.
Well, he looks like the kind of guy that would do that, but within the Evil Dead universe.
Pablo cracks on her and he's like, she said she was a cop. Self-defense.
I love it how he's also quite quick-witted as well. And dumb. His comebacks are quite sort of, I don't know, almost childish as to what you would probably expect Ash to be like when he was that young.
Well, I don't think Pablo's an idiot, is he? Really?
Oh no, he's not an idiot. No.
No, he's the brains.
He isn't
between the two of them.
He wouldn't be the cool kid in school though. Do you know what I mean? He would still be looked at as a bit of a douche. He would. His character, no, he would be. He's not part of the cool kids, is he? No. But we love him because we're not the cool kids.
Speak for yourself.
Our mate Pablo.
Yeah, except for that one guy on the IMDb forum who's saying like Pablo needs to go. He's bringing nothing to the show. He's like, are you kidding me? What an absolute moron.
Yeah, just I don't know how anyone can't not like the character Pablo. I don't get it. How?
Well, Ash is a great character that he can support. Like he can.
I love this animation.
He can like run a film, but you're talking about like a 10-episode series?
Yeah. Well, you're possibly looking at 6 seasons in a film, maybe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't have 6 seasons of the opening of Evil Dead 2 where it's just Ash by himself, for crying out loud.
Yeah. So all the even the comic book films, don't they? They have not films, TV shows always have more main characters than are in the comic. You know.
Yeah. Steve, you mentioning about this animation particularly.
Yeah.
This is one thing
as well.
This is one thing that amazed me as well was. We've always wondered how the book was created. It's bound in human flesh, inked in human blood. Even that animation, I was just like, that has just filled the void that I've been questioning for so many years and thought about for so many years.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's basically an exposition dump, but done succinctly, quickly, and in a great style. Done. That's it. No, we don't need an entire episode focusing on that.
I can't just express still how great this episode is, even so far. It's so good.
But going back to the Evil Dead 2 thing as well, it's like even sort of like for the sort of like second act of Army of Darkness, the whole film revolves around Ash out in the wilderness by himself, virtually. Fighting against mini Ash and sort of like, evil Ash and the skeletons and that. But so you can't have that. You can't have that in a season, in a TV show.
No, precisely. It wouldn't work. No matter how much we love Ash, it just wouldn't work.
Yeah. Plus, you need obviously the team to be called Ghost Beaters, and it can't just
just have one guy for other reasons.
Can't just have
You smooth brown Einstein.
What a quote! You smooth brown Einstein.
That's another thing as well. Is Ash is like this character that's just awesome, but he's almost stuck in a different sort of like generation kind of thing, isn't he?
Yeah. I love just how as well he feels he's so confident. Like Pablo was again trying to tell him, say this probably isn't a good idea, but he's like he's taken Pablo's idea of summoning, and he's like, yeah, that's great. I'm going to lead the train now for like doing this and summoning this demon. Great idea, Pablo. I don't think it's a great idea, Ash. No, shut up, Pablo. It's a great idea. Right, let's do this. And he's still sort of ignorant towards it.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, Pablo, why'd you make me do that?
yeah.
Never takes responsibility.
Yeah. If it goes right, he will always claim like praise for it. Goes wrong, someone else's fault.
Good old-fashioned devil's trap style summoning circle there.
I wonder if they just sat there and said, "Yeah, just etch anything into the saw. It's not relevant."
No. I mean, it is. They've done research. This is a sort of an actual thing. The whole sort of like salt and chalk circles and it's not just sort of like Constantine and Supernatural, that sort of stuff.
I was thinking even just the little etchings. Do you think they've gone to that much detail? That'd be interesting to know.
It's not that hard to find out, is it, nowadays?
Google it.
Oh, true, yeah.
Just look up like some ancient runes, some ancient sort of like language, and just do write Ashwazir in ancient Sumerian, I
was to say, it must be pretty quick on set as well anyway, mustn't it? Film it before, quick search on Google, done.
I've always thought it'd be funny, well, not be funny, but it'd be weird if, like, because you're just plucking these ancient sort of like words out of the air or kind of making them up, whatever sounds phonetically kind of like cool and spooky. What happens if one day you accidentally say 4 or 5 words that does summon something onto a film set,
I think it's funny, and like shows like this and Supernatural and all the like Constantine, they always manage to get a perfect circle as well.
Yeah. No one's like, oh fuck, they've done it wrong. Oh fuck, got
it's an egg shape.
Don't worry, that was probably in the draft of a script. If Ash had to do one himself, it was basically, it would have been, it has to be a perfect circle, but he doesn't do it perfect, and that's how the demon gets out or something, because he does everything half-assed.
Ghost beat. His little cheeky like.
I love the little elbow bump.
Now, I mean, again, sort of people had a little bit of criticism this week of the demon.
Right. Really?
Yeah, Elagos, the total nerd wimpy demon, who's more, hella gross. But yeah, it's because he's not. They're saying it because he's not traditional Deadite design.
What the fuck? Really? Come off it. Yeah.
But this, I will say, this is the first time that we've ever seen a Deadite summoned directly into like the confined kind of devil's trap style.
Yeah, circle. And into reality essentially.
Into reality. Every other time we've seen a Deadite summoned, they're summoned, then they take on a meat suit and possess someone. This is the first time we could see basically what like a raw, like a pure form.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so essentially,
what I mean?
We've only ever seen a human form of a Deadite, essentially.
Or even like an animal form, but it's...
Oh, yeah.
Because it's possessing something else, it's not actually OG demon.
Mm. Did any...
Dana.
Oh, yeah, I know, I'm just a bit mesmerised by us. Oh, Dana. Do you know what would have been cool? That mask that's sitting on the shelf behind Dana. Wouldn't it be cool if they somehow try and reference the actual mask from the Jim Carrey movie?
I thought it was at first, actually. When it flew across the room, I actually had to have a second take.
Yeah, me too. I did exactly the same.
Mm.
It'd be interesting if they even thought about that. But like you've said, Sam, as well, if we could probably go back to Drag Me to Hell, and we could probably sit there and look at this bookstore and be like, oh, look, that's there.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, on the stone with the goat, like there you go, the ram's skull on that. You never know, that might sort of be sitting there somewhere.
Takes a lot more words to summon this Elagos than it does just to summon the entire evil dead.
The entire spirit, isn't it? Yeah. The one that really fucks shit up.
You can unleash basically like the Deadite apocalypse with only a handful of words, but this one takes like an entire paragraph.
I like it as well. Just then, it looked like the demon took a wrong turn in the forest. It was like, oh crap.
See, I really like the design of this. Do you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember the Aphex Twin video from back in the day?
Yeah.
I want your soul.
Yeah, that screaming kind of guy. I mean, it's not quite, but it looks like a bit like that, with the flickering and the twitching.
Yeah, like the digital flickering. It looks so good.
Crossed with something you'd see from like Guillermo del Toro.
There we go. It sort of makes sense as well when we'd heard Dana said she couldn't talk, she couldn't scream, and it was kind of relevant in this episode as well. I love this little bit. Just the eye. It's so funny, isn't it? It's such a great scene. That's why we're all sitting in radio silence for anybody listening. The page flat, like whacking him in the face as well. I wonder how planned that was.
Why would anyone fall for that?
No, exactly.
Uh-oh.
It's such a great scene. Even with like the noises and stuff.
Yeah.
Does anybody recognise the bookshop owner at all from anything?
At first I thought, is that David Arquette? But it wasn't.
David Arquette, oh my god.
It's really like, Steve, you nailed it in saying that the fact of that we've never seen a Deadite manifested, you know, we've never seen a demon manifested, and it's such an interesting scene.
Well, it was just that I was reading a lot of the reviews, and they were sort of like they were criticising it, saying obviously like it's more of a Clive Barker kind of looking Cenobite design, and
so
that
good.
But then I thought like this is like I can't recall a single time that a Deadite hasn't had some kind of meat suit, or I suppose the mini Ashes, but they were a copy of Ash, weren't they? Still,
yeah.
You know, so
You got to think the Deadeyes always tend to have like glossed over eyes.
Yeah.
And this, say, like one, like he doesn't even have eyes.
Yeah.
Reminds me a little bit of that scene from Independence Day. You know,
actually, do you know?
Yeah.
You say with obviously with like the kind of like color of the demon. You can imagine if that took your skin and pulled it over you like in Men in Black or something. That's kind of what your eyes color would look like.
Yeah.
Have that
I don't know
milky
how
blue
anybody
kind of like glazed look.
I don't know how anybody could complain about this Deadite, because as far as I'm concerned, that's one of the meanest looking arseholes I've seen in my life.
Ash being cocky as usual.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's loads of different Deadites. You look at Army of Darkness, you've got the Pit Witch. That's a completely different look. Yep. You've got the Flying Deadite from the end of Evil Dead 2. Yeah. Army of Darkness.
You've got the waterlogged Deadite in the pit as well.
That's what the Pit Witch.
Oh right, the Pit Witch.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was talking about the one that came out of the wall and chased him at the end.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The Pit Witch.
Oh right.
The Witch of the Pit. See the pit? To the pit with him.
Yeah, no. There's two in the pit with him though.
Oh, the one that comes out the wall.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry, yeah. No, I get it now. Yeah.
Something I missed. The drool.
Something you missed?
No, like the first time I watched it, you know, where it's like sort of almost like disconnecting his brain cells.
Yeah, what it's
just
kind
trying to remember, like when I was watching it, I was like, what was this demon's traits again, or
preys on like the weak and
emotion? Yeah, preys on emotion and
fragile.
stuff like that. Yeah.
And so why was it? But he like popped all their cells and stuff like that. But then what? You know, it's just kind of later effects.
Maybe he was trying to open them up so he could control them.
Maybe he's just taken Ash's one and only brain cell.
I like it as well. Like Pablo's acting exactly like Ash. It wasn't that Pablo had the idea of summoning a demon. It was no, Ash summoned a demon. It was his idea.
It's quite gruesome.
Yeah, it's brutal killing.
It's just something. It's something new, isn't it? It's something different, something we haven't seen, and it gives sort of Ash a bit of vulnerability for once, because this isn't just the usual Deadite that he can just chainsaw up and boomstick.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. You've seen Ash now, especially in the first 2 episodes. He's back to his badass self, and this is what he does. For it's his business. Do you mean Deadite slaying that's what he does?
Yeah. But whereas as well, like you said, it's good to see that there is vulnerability to him. You know, he isn't invincible.
That shot just there, because people are like, "Oh my God, did that demon just get killed by the Book of the Dead? Oh, how stupid!" It's like, no, actually, no. I think when she hits him, it gets sucked back through the mouth, which is the mouth to hell, maybe, because it's fire in the mouth, isn't it? So it looks like that's what I think it is, anyway. because the book summons, so bang, back into the mouth of hell.
Why isn't it an exit? It's an entrance for them, isn't it? So surely it's the exit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there will always be more questions raised before we get answers.
Mm.
You got to think it's only episode 3.
Yeah, and
it's just the pace of it. It's relentless. It's not boring. It just goes for it.
It's just all so perfect so far, isn't it? Everything about it is so perfect.
Characters support each other. They get equal time. It just It just has a bounce to it. It's just entertainment. There's no sort of drop off at any point of each episode.
So smooth.
That's the problem with having a show as good as this. When you try and do like a commentary companion,
it's hard.
You just sit there, you're talking, and then you're just like, oh, I want to hear what he says.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Even though you've already watched it, you just can't stop yourself, can you?
You miss bits. At the end of the day, we miss bits, you know.
Mm.
So, for instance, with the masks that we was talking about, both me and Steve said we had to take a second look at it again because we watched it and was like, fucking hold on a minute. Whether they were referencing something.
Ash actually had some words of wisdom there, like about the cops and that.
Mm.
Shows that he's not all a complete idiot.
Yeah.
Well, Ash is not a total idiot. I mean, he can make a robotic mechanical hand in the Dark Ages, and he can turn the Oldsmobile into a giant sort of windmill tank.
Yeah.
It's probably better if we just don't have Army of Darkness so much as canon, because we don't have to answer the question of how the hell did he get the car fixed up after
exactly.
done to it.
And plus, I think it would have been a lot of effort to explain how he got from medieval England, from the cave, or the cave at least in England, all the way back to Michigan without a passport.
Well, that depends on the ending that you got, or you accept.
Oh, well, yes, of course, yeah.
Because if they send him back, it's still have the question of he still has to do up the car, because it was, trashed.
It's just Evil Dead, at the end of the day. None of the films sort of keep any kind of...
continuity to some degree.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Looks like there's going to be some gross tongue thing going on there.
So what's the name of the next episode coming out?
The next episode, I can't quite remember actually. Let me just do a quick bit of tappy.
Tappity tappity?
Tappity. Next episode coming out is called
Brujo.
Not quite sure what exactly that explains at all.
Yeah. Brujo. It's Pablo's.
Oh no! Yes, it's his uncle, isn't it?
Uncle,
of course,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, just looking at the names of the episodes, they just give you a slight piece of excitement. Brujo, the host, the killer of the killers, fire in the hole, ashes to ashes, perfectly. The bits I like towards the end, ashes to ashes, bound in flesh, and then the dark one. But how did everyone feel about that episode?
Yeah, as I said, that was my...
I think it's my favourite.
Well, even more than the pilot?
Well, no, the pilot's always got something going for it.
Yeah, I guess the pilot's always going to have its sort of likability over everything else. But other than that, that was literally a 10 out of 10 episode from me.
This is where the season's going, then, I'm all up for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Introduce us to new things. I think, obviously, this episode was better because it didn't have to just tie off the loose ends from the pilot.
No, exactly. It seems
Bait just had to do a little bit of a sort of sweep up job just to close off the pilot, really, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of on its own now, isn't it?
Yeah, the ball's rolling.
Yeah, the ball's rolling. I don't think there's anything else really we can say about it other than the fact of how entertaining it still was. And like I said earlier in the episode, I was so happy they answered my lifelong question of how the book was created.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simplistic as that, even with the pages of the slicing of the flesh across the chest and then the blood and just how it became. That simplistic little animation just was absolute, and it made the episode for me almost. It was absolutely brilliant.
It was
Anything
great.
else from you guys?
Yeah, it was great. It answered questions. It gave some more exposition and backstory to the Necronomicon. It's obviously brought back in the Kandarian demon, Kandarian dagger.
Yep.
And given it a actual purpose.
What I like as well is Ruby, Lucy Lawless's character, is only being featured every now and then, and it's like, it's almost teasing, isn't it? It's almost too teasing. I can't wait to see her and Ash just come to blow to heads, because clearly she's got an issue with Ash, and then Ash is going to have an issue with her because essentially her dad has ruined Ash's life, but then at the same time Ash is the one that's wiped out her family almost.
Well, that's what she's going to think, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's what she's going to think. But each other have both got issues with each other, so it's really interesting to find out how it's going to come to be. But thanks for joining us if you've got this far so far. Just a bit of quick information for you. We've got 2 special guests on the way, haven't we?
Mm-hmm. Well,
anyone wish to sort of break the news themselves?
Well, I don't know what's the best way about it. I mean, basically, I don't know. The best way to describe it.
Best way you can explain it is, fortunately, 2 of Ash's sidekicks agreed to come onto the show and give us a little interview in a moment of their time to talk about Ash vs. Evil Dead. So we spoke to Ray Santiago, and we've also spoken to Dana as well. Dana DeLorenzo, isn't it? Yes,
Yep.
it is.
Yes.
We've all spoken to the 2 of them on separate occasions, so they're going to be 2 separate interviews, but you guys have got those to look forward to. And both of the interviews dropped some great little teasers as well from what we can expect from both their characters and as well from the TV series in itself. So do we have a timestamp on when we're dropping those, guys?
They'll be over the next few days. So, I mean, if from the day this is released, it'll be over the following few days of them. But if, you're listening to this a week or 2 after, then just check out the channel or our iTunes feed, because they'll already be on there. And
if you're looking for the channel, if you're listening to this audio or audially from iTunes, go onto YouTube, search Hail to the Chin podcast. You will not miss our channel icon and even the subscribe button on the search results, and you will see a list of the episodes that are there. Also, you can get us on Twitter at Hail2. That's the number 2, so that's Hail to the Chin. As simple as that.
And it doesn't stop there either. We've got a lot lined up. We've got a lot other guests lined up. But, in sort of tradition from sort of another show I do, we don't reveal anything until we've recorded it or received something. Basically until they're actually recorded. But we've got a ton of things lined up in the next week or so. So once
Deadite fans around.
Yeah, so once, so not just Ash vs. Evil Dead, we're talking about the whole franchise.
Yeah, we're talking about Evil Dead as well, backstory, the lot, people from the past and possibly maybe even beyond. You never know whether some of the old characters are going to get some cameos or even some mentions.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen because we had a little teaser from one of the guests anyway, so that was one thing you can look forward to in the episode. One thing, I just kind of want to spoil everything because it's just so exciting, but we won't. I'll shut my mouth now on it.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channels because they're all going to be on there anyway. And we're also going to start putting out some other cool little. These will probably be YouTube centric, like some cool little videos of some, collectibles, some merchandise, some just cool little tidbits that. So just making it more worth your while to follow us
subscribe, and to check out the channel from every now and then. Steve, have you got anything to add, mate?
No, it's just really amazing, and I agree that stuff lined up. If you're an Evil Dead fan, don't miss out.
Yeah,
it's going to be fantastic.
And do us a favour as well. Just share as much as you can.
Keep the Ash vs. Evil Dead wave going.
Yep.
Yeah.
The more you share Hail to the Chin, the more guests we'll be able to get.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for joining us, those guys. Remember, Hail to the Chin. That's the number 2 on Twitter, and Hail to the Chin podcast on YouTube. Thanks for joining us, and we shall see you for episode 4, Brujo.
All I gotta do is see a guy about a book. There must be some spell I can say to undo all this. The other first thing I gotta do is some cardio, because my heart is jackhammering like a quarterback on prom night. Here's the plan. We bust in there, fight through the carnage, let the boomstick do the talking. Things get hairy, use your bottle.
I don't think it's a very good weapon, Jefe. He had to stab like 50 times.
I was sharpening it for you. Now, come on. You ready?
I'm ready.